the Shiloh Institute, Bishop Brereton, a member of the Real Spill family. And you're having breakfast with me today. And I think I want to start this new breakfast segment, a real breakfast television. I've got pancakes, egg whites, beef sausage, cheese seed shake, cheese. Man, it looks pretty good. Everything, fruit salad. So I just wanted to keep the fire burning in 2025. I know in the past a lot of people hated when I ate and I did a show. Well, I ain't afraid of you ninjas. This might not be for you. One of the things I have to bring to the attention of the Real Spill family is the passing of Evangelist Yvonne Gentles. We'll be laying her to rest this Saturday, February the 1st, at our church. And it speaks to the craziness of 2025. So much has happened already in 2025 that we really should be keeping closer attention to the quick episodes that are taking place this year. And that's why I definitely wanted to come to you and to really keep splashing fresh water on our face from the perspective of the believer and the individual who has a worldview, looking around and seeing how what's happening. So far, we've had a Donald Trump presidency that has been consummated. He's hit the ground running with multiple executive orders. He's threatened countries, including Canada. He's threatened to take back the Panama Canal. He's renaming the Gulf of Mexico. He flew some South American folks in a military plane back to their country, dropped them off. They were refused. He wants to put tariffs on Canada rather, and that's him. He's got more up his sleeve. Also, we've seen some big movements in the church community. Coming to the end of the year, we had T.D. Jakes almost dying live on television. In the new year, we have Pastor Mitchell and his plea for help from Church 2819. Very controversial in my opinion. And we have this, I think, emerging massive secularism that's taking place in the church. Massive. Church is getting much more secular, much more comfortable with it. A non-traditionalist mind has swept across the black churches and white churches alike. We have a rising awareness of Hebraic culture in Israel. Even myself, I have dove headfirst into the study of ancient Hebrew, the original Hebrew, and to understand it, to write it, to speak it, to read it. And the relevance of that awakening will have for myself and for our church family and for many of you. So what this is culminating to is we have a vastly shifting and changing world that's taking place right away as 2025 arrive. Our church has coined a theme for the year saying that we have been chosen to shift the atmosphere. And that's exactly what's taking place. There's a massive atmosphere shift that is going on even as we speak. We've seen that even in Israel, They have now turned their attention to the West Bank and shifted from Gaza. Canada, we've shifted from Trudeau, who has stepped down, and to allow a new person to walk up that great hill in Ottawa to assume the prime minister of this land. There's great things afoot that are happening, and I think we have to be extremely aware to where we sit in the pantheon of all these things that are happening. What should we be doing? What should we be believing? What should we be looking out for? And I'm not going to be here long. I just want to give you a few things that I think we should be looking out for in the next coming months and in the rest of this year. I think the world is in a giant adjustment recoil. America leading the way. There's just some people would call it a reintroduction of common sense, and some would call it a reintroduction of white supremacy, depending on what side of the coin you're on. How is that going to affect us? I really just believe that this is a season where you have to have more faith than practical, because things are about to be very different. I think you're going to see a lot of transformation, even in things like you're investing in with the stock market. Never before has Canada and America, probably since the War of 1812, decided that they were going to be enemies in any way, shape, or form. And so you're going to have massive trade wars happening across the world. Nations are going to be changing who they've done deals with. China's coming to the forefront, probably for Canada, and India might be coming to the forefront. We have seen world populations moving all over the place. Canada is currently the second largest population of Indian people, other than the subcontinent of India. So that means there's different agendas that are going to be happening here that are different. And the church has to be ready now too, because the church has to expect an influx of things that are not what they normally would have expected to come. Traditionalists are going to see non-traditional things walk in their doors, and they're going to have to learn how to deal with it. They're going to have to learn how to either adjust, which I find the church should not be adjusting to the world, but we're teaching those individuals how to adjust to the holiness of the church. I think people are re-understanding the truths right now. Things that were hidden from us, things that were mistold. Just in my tertiary study of Hebrew, I am seeing translation errors. Minor, nothing that's going to drastically affect the text or affect the theme, but enough that we can say, hey, the last generation got that wrong, and we need to now correct it. People are getting sick all of a sudden. There's just so much that is on the table now that's going to be a game changer. I believe that this is a time to save and not a time to sow. It's a time to make sure that you're ready for what's coming ahead of you. I remember in the story of Joseph, when he went to Egypt as a captive, God released a dream to Pharaoh. I won't get into the details of the dream, but the theme of it that Joseph was able to say is that there's about to be 7 lean years. But about to be 7 plenteous years. And then afterward will follow 7 lean years, where everything will die. And I think that we are in the lean years right now. I think we're in the years where we have to be wise of what's in our hands, it's in our pocket, in our bank accounts. We can't overextend ourselves. We should be planning, saving, learning, watching the signs. I believe this is also a year where many non-believers will be coming to faith, will be looking for God, because life is getting harder and harder, stranger and stranger, and people are going to be looking to the church to say, where should we turn to? So that leaves it in the hands of leaders. And I hope that this generation of church is not like the condition of Israel when Josiah, the boy king, was a king, where Israel did not understand its faith. Shalom to you too, my brother. We have to be in a season where we have to understand our faith. We have to understand what the world is saying, what the world is doing. When, for example, Donald Trump says we are going to create a world that is not run by, where the government does not impute genders and ethnicity on its population, what does that mean? And being able to read through the meaning of the things that are being said. When you see the term Christian nationalist, what does that mean? And not to over-respond, but also absolutely not to under-respond. What I see too is there's a very strong agenda now that is taking place, where I see the Black church in America has become very sympathetic and very advocacy oriented for the LGBT community, where the Black church has become Democrats. And I'm sorry, a Christian is a Christian and a Democrat's a Democrat, and a Republican's a Republican, and neither are Christians. A Republican's a Republican, Democrat's a Democrat, but we are Christian. Believe it or not, there's going to be times the Republicans get it right. There's going to be times Donald gets it right, even as many times he gets it wrong. We as Christians can't lean to one side or the other. We have to hold the path of what's right, and we can't get caught up with that. I know a lot of people in America were disappointed with what took place with your presidency, but please understand that God is still on the throne, and Donald can't do anything that God doesn't allow him to do. So I just wanted us to understand that going forward, there are some real things that you have to just sit down and look forward to. Is it time to go out there and spend $19 million in a church building? Speaking to 2819 Church. My answer would be heck no. There's so much more things that are important right now in the world that you have to be a better steward, me too, of the things that are coming into our hands. And we have to be individuals, and I was on here with Dr. Israel last night, who receive wisdom and understanding for what is next and for what is coming. Because what is coming is going to change, I think, the very understanding of what you thought was real before. I don't think many of you would have anticipated what is taking place with Trump's presidency, that it was even possible. And he said it himself. He said that we are Americans and we make the impossible possible. Very proud statement. But what I'm thinking more so is that you're about to see the impossible take place in this world, not just in Washington, D.C., It's going all the way to Beirut. Um, it's going to all the way to the Kremlin. It's going to China. It's going to Africa. The impossible is about to take place, and we are at the entry phases of the rising of the Antichrist, and this world is about to be turned upside down in an incredible way. And the things that you felt that were behind us are not. The xenophobia, the thirst for power, those things are coming. And gold won't protect you. The American dollar won't protect you. A good job won't protect you. You have to have the spiritual wherewithal that you know that you're standing on the terra firma of God, and that you can open your mouth as an oracle and God will answer in an instant. That is the new currency. The new currency is from heaven. It is the power, the dunamis power of God working on the life of true believers. And if you have put your stock in anything else wholeheartedly, I'm going to tell you that you're about to be in a position of bankruptcy, because you have to hedge your bet that this world system is about to change drastically. I predict billion-dollar organizations will become bankrupt overnight, will become obsolete in an instant, in a twinkling of an eye. One executive order, one shifting of the economic tornadoes will cause certain entities that were powerful before to disappear overnight. And so please be vigilant about what is happening, about what is changing. Or the change might run you over and crush you. Keep your eye on Elon Musk and the changes of communication. Please be aware that privacy no longer exists in the world. There's no such thing as privacy. You do not have it. You don't have a private conversation. You don't have a private voice note. There's no such thing as privacy. And they just passed a bill here, Bill 188 in Canada, that if you work in particular sectors, they demand that you go to your local police station and you have to present all your interactions with police from the time you're 18 to present. So that means if you have no criminal record, or you had been arrested as an 18-year-old for something you didn't do, or charged for something you didn't do, and you were cleared of it, vindicated of it, your employer, just an employer, can say, I want to go back to he's 18 years old and I want to see every interaction he's ever had with police, he or she. And they can utilize that to terminate your employment. There is no privacy anymore. There is no innocent until proven guilty anymore, because you are now being evaluated on the accusations of people. If they've said it about you, we want to know. If the police have come to your house and knocked on your door and said you're too loud, or you're arguing with your wife or your husband, we want to know. When Elon Musk is able to put a satellite in space that will cancel the need for SIM cards, you'll never need a SIM card again, and he's able to put that satellite up there, that satellite won't simply be just controlling communication. He will have the capacity to control communication, or to cancel communication immediately. People will use it because now, being on a plane, no problem. Anywhere you are in the world, you can be in a cave, no problem. That satellite will give you the capacity to communicate, and probably give you the capacity to be found. Because if a signal can get to you and the device is in your hand, the device and the signal are going to fixate where your location is. So there's no such thing as privacy anymore. You're surrendering your privacy for technology. We talked about artificial intelligence. It's going to be very difficult to figure out what is real and what is not real. What is the truth and what is not the truth. They're already able, of course, to create AI people online, be able to interact with them, and they look very real. They look very perfect. But now even information is being constructed. New information, new truth, rewriting the textbooks of truth in an instant of an eye, right? Every single textbook, we are going to eliminate whatever information they want to eliminate, right? Trump has already passed that American history will not be affected by Black history. You can't teach that anymore. So you have to be aware that what you think is the truth today, somebody in maybe 6 months will say that's a lie, that was never true. I've already seen it happen with the West African slave trade. People have said, oh, there wasn't that many slaves taken. 100 million, no, there's like 2 or 3 million slaves. That's it. Right? But the Holocaust, 6 million. Absolutely. 6 million Holocaust Jews were killed. But the slave trade, no, it's only 1 or 2 million Africans that were taken. Also, oh yeah, the Africans, they sold each other in slaves. They don't talk about the wars that took place between the British and the Ghanaians and all of the other people that they came in there and fought. So truth is going to be extremely fluid very soon. And the business of the truth keepers, that's going to be the new treasury. Your new treasury is going to be accuracy, genuineness, because everything now is, we could produce fiction and call it the truth. Donald Trump is on a tirade for the next 4 years that he's going to say over and over again, and it will be repeated, what his truth is. And it will be repeated until it becomes part of the folklore of his legacy. And he's a great example of the power of propaganda. He's a perfect example. And I want you to love your wives, love your children, love your husbands. Understand that you are all that you have, and that this world is coming for your family, coming for your mental health. It's coming for what you consider to be near and dear. It's coming for your scriptural translations. It's coming for your belief system. It's coming from the God. It's coming for the God inside of you. And you better be aware of it. This is Del K. Brereton. This is the Shiloh Institute. Breakfast with the Bishop. We'll talk to each other very soon. God bless you.